Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching to this 199th episode of the Intoxicated Sports Report. Can you believe it?
That's right.
I know, I can't.
We're here.
I'm Gage. He's Emerson. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
On this Victory Tuesday.
Hey. How about them?
Of course, when I don't want them to win, they start winning, so.
Yeah, they can't even tank right.
They can't do anything right. That's okay. You take it for what it is. The Cowboys haven't won since they beat the Steelers like week 4, something like that.
Love that.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Well, it's funny because my Dynasty fantasy team is doing the same thing. I traded away some of my best players to get draft picks.
Yeah.
I was 2-8, and now I've won the last 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Sick.
That's a hell of an IPA right there.
This is a good beer, man.
We're drinking the Sierra Nevada Celebration Fresh Hop IPA. It's hoppy, and I'm an IPA guy.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is Dale's Pale Ale. Which I haven't had one of those in a long time. Might be time to revisit sometime soon.
If we're, we always talk about doing the beer tier list.
We need to do that. Thank you for bringing that up.
I would probably like my all-time favorite beers. I'd probably put Dale's up there. I know it's different than like a tier list.
Yeah,
but I love a good Dale's Pale Ale.
Dale's is good.
Something about it.
It's very malty. It's it's a very heavy beer on the palate, but it's flavorful. It's a good one for sure.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else, but I can't remember. Yeah.
As far as your favorite beers, or just in general?
No, just in general.
Gotcha.
It's all good. It's all good. How are you, man?
Good. Happy birthday to your dad.
Yeah, yesterday was my dad's birthday. He is
not 53, but
he's
54.
54. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. So we're at Norman Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having us, by the way. And I'm sitting at the bar with Devin because we kind of like the edge of the bar and like kind of the back tables too.
Corner, yeah.
And so I'm hearing Jeremy talk to my dad. And Jeremy's like, "How old are you now?" And my dad, serious as can be, like he's not even messing around. He goes, "Oh, I'm 53." And I look back at him, I'm like, "What'd you say?" And he's like, "I'm 53. I'm like, "No, you're not. You're 54. He's like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "What year were you born?" He was like, 1970. And I said, "It's 2024. It's pretty basic. I'm not good at math.
That's very easy math.
That's pretty basic math.
Yeah, if you're born on a zero, that's easy math.
That's all I'm saying. And so in a matter of minutes, he gained another year of his life.
Yeah.
He told everybody at work and throughout the day and on Facebook that he was 53 today, or 53 yesterday. But nonetheless, it was a great time. I was glad that everybody joined. Danny even showed up a little bit after because my dad specifically reached out to Danny, wanted to join. Danny's going to school and all that, so I understand. So he was able to have a couple drinks with us too, and it was nice of Jeremy to show up and Drew and JoJo, obviously, and Devin.
He didn't tell me who might be showing up. He just said it could be just you two, or it could be 5, 6, 7 people. So
well, it's funny. Last week when he mentioned it, he's like, "Hey, you want to go get a drink for my birthday?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And so I didn't really say anything to Dev because he didn't specify being like,
we're doing this
other
or
people.
Not. Yeah.
And so he was like, "Oh yeah, talking to Drew and JoJo and Jeremy," and I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, I thought when you asked to get a drink, it was just gonna be us two,
father son.
He was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." Like, but it's still great to get.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that your mom and your sister and
my mom was there. Yes,
yeah.
Which is rare for my mom because she doesn't ever go out, and she hardly ever drinks.
Yeah.
So it was nice that she was there as well.
Yeah.
We actually took a black tie taxi.
Really?
My dad's. He used to. Obviously back in the day, they used to take cabs all the time. That's all there was.
Right.
And so he was kind of trying to support. Because I'm sure black tie is hurting.
I'm sure.
Or I'm sure a lot of taxi services outside of major cities are hurting.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're still fine in the city and like New York and like Chicago, like that kind of thing. But in small towns like this, or I'd say Napa's a small town, kind of.
Yeah, relatively.
Definitely feels like it at times.
Yeah.
So I'm sure black tie taxi probably appreciates the business and all that.
No doubt. We got a little NBA Cup action going on today. Lakers at Suns. I think Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal are either back today or they came back in the last game that they played.
They're playing right now.
Yeah, but they are on the court today. Yes, for sure.
Good to see that. See how long it lasts.
Yep. Yeah, no kidding. It's been a weird start to the NBA season, I feel like. Obviously we had the Cavs, had that winning streak going. Celtics are the Celtics, of course. Porzingis made his debut last night.
Kings kind of stink.
Kings, yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of season left. But
they're like 8-9, 8-10.
Yeah, middle of the pack. Warriors have lost a couple of weird games the last couple nights, but
they blew one bad last night, didn't they?
and the night before that too. Jeez. I think they blew an 18-point lead last night, and then sorry, it wasn't the night before. It was on Saturday, I believe. They lost a 17-point lead to the Spurs. So.
But the Warriors are they've exceeded at least my expectation to start the season.
If you told me they were going to be 12-5 right now to start the season, I'd be like, I appreciate your optimism, but stop smoking the weed.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah.
So yes, very pleasantly surprised. But
I probably would have guessed how the Kings are doing. I wouldn't have guessed the Kings would have started out that well either.
Right.
For the record, but
I would have seen it more plausible that it would be the other way around, if anything, though.
Yeah.
You know, given that the Kings made a big acquisition and the Warriors lost one of their best players. So
I remember what I wanted to say. We're playing on a short week.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's a quick turnaround for us. It's Tuesday. It's not our normal Thursday.
This Tuesday.
But we wanted to, or at least I wanted to do this episode today because it was pretty much the only option given the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes, we were not going to do it on Thursday.
No,
so
coming up. And also our next episode, like I said earlier, you know, it's episode 199 right now.
Yeah,
so
200 next
200 will wait like a good week and a half.
Yeah, get some good info. We'll have a full football schedule to talk about.
Could have some champagne being popped.
Yeah, we're definitely hitting the roof in this room.
We'll have to go to Trader Joe's and get some nice little bubbles. You know, I call sparkling wine champagne. I know technically it's not what that is.
'Tis the season though.
Right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we are drinking today some. We talked about it. Right?
About
this, Celebration IPA.
It's a good. Do they only sell this?
It is a seasonal beer. Yeah, it starts beginning of this month through. Yeah, I think they stopped making it to where it sells out by the end of the year.
And it's got a nice little picture of a cabin with the snow on top. It just really makes you feel like it's here.
It's holidays. It's a holiday beer for sure. It's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so let's roll into college football since it's just it's a big football week. Yeah. Last week of the regular season is coming up, but we'll get into what happened this past weekend. Biggest matchup of the week was definitely number 5 Indiana at number 2 Ohio State. Indiana was competitive early; they did score first, but the wheels came off pretty quickly, and Ohio State went on a 31-0 run after that. Yeah. Final score was 38-15 Ohio State. They held Indiana to 153 yards of offense in this game, which is brutal.
That's bad.
You know, to go along with some of the mistakes that Indiana made, turnover. I think they muffed a punt or a snap on a punt that set up a touchdown at the end of the first half for Ohio State. So not a good showing for Indiana, who was undefeated coming in this game and was looking to put at least a good showing on their resume, which they definitely didn't.
Yeah.
We'll talk about where they're at in the rankings, but yeah, not a great game for them. Some other big scores, a lot of upsets this week. SEC took a beating. a lot of their contenders,
which we love to see.
Yeah, gotta love it. A lot of their contenders went down. Florida upset number 9 Ole Miss, 24-17. Also in the Big 12, number 21 Arizona State beat number 14 BYU. Huge win for them.
Do you think Taysom Hill was bummed out about this?
He wasn't happy.
The Mormon missile.
That's right. Again in the Big 12, Kansas upset number 16 Colorado, 37-21. That's a big loss for Colorado.
Do not like to see this from my future coach quarterback combo.
Right. It does kind of seem like in the last couple of years, Colorado gets to the point where they got a huge game on their schedule and they fucking blow
Just take a shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 6 Notre Dame, they beat number 19 Army 49-14. Notre Dame has been on a roll the last 10 weeks, give or take. They haven't played any great opponents per se, but they're cruising at the right time. Also, Oklahoma back to the SEC beat number 7 Alabama, their first signature win on the season.
That's a big win.
That's a huge one, 24-3 too. They held Alabama, who's put some big numbers on some good teams this year, to 3 points. Auburn also upset number 15 Texas A&M 43-41. That one to quadruple overtime. You guys were in at the restaurant to watch that one.
I'd forgotten how the overtime rules are now in.
They've altered them a little bit to try and speed up the process, because
I
don't know if you remember some of those games a handful of years ago that were going to 7-8 overtimes or whatever, which is ridiculous.
What overtime football or college football overtime game I remember more than any other ones was one that Stanford was involved in.
Oh, that was a great one.
With Andrew Luck, right?
Yeah, against USC.
Yeah.
One of the greatest Stanford football games I've ever seen in my life.
Were you there?
No, we watched it. I think we watched it together here. Yeah,
I imagine we did,
or at least the end of it. You guys came over
because did it go to like 5 or 6 overtimes?
I want to say it was like 3, but it's still
really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I felt like a lot more than that.
No, yeah, I want to say it was 3
because they were going like
maybe even only 2, but still.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
But they were trading scores at the end of regulation too.
Oh, okay.
Before that,
yeah, they were going tit for tat.
Yeah,
was that when they had Barkley as their quarterback?
No. I believe Matt Barkley was the quarterback.
Yeah.
He might have been like a freshman or something.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
And Stanford ended up winning?
And Stanford ended up winning, yeah. Andrew, I remember he threw a really bad pick 6 to let USC take the lead late in the game, and then he took them down to tie the game that very next drive.
Got it.
And then they ended up, of course, winning in multiple overtimes. But, yes, good memories. Yeah. Speaking of Stanford, Cal beat them in the big game, 24-21. Stanford got off to
they did.
Fantastic start, and they were still leading this game by 2 touchdowns in the second half.
Unfortunately for me, Cal did not win by 15.
They did not. They did not cover.
They 98 yards to score the goal.
That was an impressive drive. I got to give them to them. I mean, they got gifted some penalties. Not that they weren't, but they got gifted some penalties on the drive. But still, impressive stuff. They were down 21-7 in the second half and came back to win 24-7.
And Cal keeps the axe for the 4th straight year.
That's right.
The axe.
Tough season for the Stanford Cardinal. Axe it. CFP rankings update. The top 4 still unchanged. So it's Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, and Penn State. Top 4. I know Notre Dame moved up to number 5. Indiana moved down to number 10. That's a big move. Still in the top 12 or in the playoff picture, so to speak. Bama down to 13, Ole Miss down to 14. So those 2 are on the outside looking in now. Not going to have a great chance to improve their resumes, so they're going to really have to hope for some upsets in front of them.
Which is not a good position to be in.
Not a good position to be in. Crazy development in the Big 12, which hasn't been a great conference this year, we'll be honest, but they do have some teams that are, of course, in contention for the playoff. 9 teams have a chance to be in the Big 12 championship game in a week and a half, which is insane.
Sounds like our fantasy football team.
It does. It's very similar.
It
really does. Arizona State and Iowa State rather are the only 2 teams that control their destiny. So if they both win this weekend, they'll be in the Big 12 championship. But if that's not the case, then the mayhem will ensue. Wow. Over in the SEC, Texas A&M and Texas will be facing off and the winner will go to the SEC championship to face off with Georgia. They're already locked in.
Georgia's okay. They're already locked
in. But Texas, who is the higher ranked team of all 3, it does not have a guaranteed spot yet. So that's going to be a big game this weekend.
Well, you know Texas wants another shot at Georgia.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Absolutely. With that being their only loss, absolutely. Yeah. And then this is kind of like a fun rivalry renewed in a way with Texas and Texas A&M, who were Big 12 rivals back in the day, and they're now SEC rivals. Yeah, okay. First time playing each other in a long time, so should be a fun weekend.
I mean, if Texas loses to Georgia, if it gets to that point, they got to look at themselves like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, our only 2 losses against the same team?
I do hope that it is Texas versus Georgia because I think that's the better matchup on paper. But yeah, and and we all know it's hard to beat a good team twice in one season, so that'll be interesting for sure. Ohio State and Miami both need wins to reach their respective championship games. Ohio State is hosting Michigan, 6-5 on the season in the game. I think they call it.
Is that your favorite? As soon as I saw this, I think Devin and I were talking about this game, and I said, "You mean the game?"
Yeah.
And I remember you last year saying, "Why did they get it called the game?"
Yeah.
Like, how come they're the ones that have it called the games?
Get over yourselves.
I think the Super Bowl should be called the game.
If anything.
Yeah.
Ohio State.
You just remember last year. You weren't into it.
Yeah.
It is pretty pretentious.
Oh, for sure.
And I probably said the same thing last year. But, we're our game. It's called the game.
Especially considering the fact that in our lifetime, in recent history, the games have been good, at least on paper. But in our lifetime, it's been lopsided towards Ohio State a lot. Yeah. So it's like, and again, this year Ohio State's like a 20-point favorite. Yeah. So get over yourselves.
The game.
Yeah. Miami, however, has to go at Syracuse, who's 8-3, probably looking to spoil someone's season for sure. So that'll be an interesting game to decide some ACC Madness.
So next week will be championship game. Wow. I apologize. That was awful.
Was that a glitch?
That was weird.
It was just a microphone. Don't worry.
Next week will be championship weekend.
Correct.
Or week.
Yes,
okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
yeah.
I just couldn't spit it out.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. I'll see if I can edit that out.
Yeah, that'd be great. Should we start over?
Yeah, the whole podcast.
No, okay. I do tend to stutter a little bit at times.
It happens. We all do it. So yeah, championship week coming up in about a week and a half.
Nice.
Let's recap what happened last week in our picks. Gage,
I stink.
You went 2-2 though this week.
Okay.
Yeah, went 2-2.
The overall record is not.
The overall record's not great. I went 3-1. I was inches from a perfect 4-0 week, which would have been sick. So overall records now, you're 12-19. Didn't lose any ground, didn't gain any ground.
No.
I'm 21-9-1.
Dude.
I don't know.
Someone get a fire extinguisher.
I don't know what's going on.
Jeez.
I guess I'm making up for how shitty I was last year. You should just gonna put that out there.
Just start doing DraftKings, bro.
Yeah, as soon as I start doing DraftKings, I'll start losing bets.
Right.
It's just the way it goes.
When you're doing it for no money, it's all fun and games.
Oh yeah.
And then you start putting a couple 20s down.
Yeah.
It starts going down the drain.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Exactly. So I'll start it off with the picks this week. I got number 12 Clemson -2.5 versus number 15 South Carolina. A little South Carolina rivalry match going on there. No conference implications there, but definitely potential playoff implications. So that'll be a fun one. I also got Syracuse +11 versus number 6 Miami. So I am taking Syracuse to play spoiler in this event. And then last but not least, I got number 20 Texas A&M. Sorry, +5.5. I put that in wrong. But +5.5 versus number 3 Texas. I think they'll keep it close. I know Texas is a damn good football team, but I don't know that there's any great teams out there right now. And I think Texas A&M will at least keep it interesting.
Okay. My picks, I'm going number 5 Notre Dame -7.5 at USC. I mean, I think Notre Dame being ranked this high, I know they're on the road, but they're playing an unranked USC team. I know there's history between these two teams.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a big game for them.
Right.
But I think Notre Dame can cover.
Notre Dame's been playing some good football. I think they can definitely make this cover.
I'm going to go my second pick, number 18, Iowa State, -2.5 against number 24, Kansas State. I'm pretty much picking this because Iowa State's at home, I believe.
Yep.
And I like the low point spread.
Yeah.
I think they can cover that.
I mean, this damn near pick them.
Yeah. And then my last one, I'm going to go Auburn +11.5 at number 13, Alabama. Little Iron Bowl action. I called it the Auburn Bowl earlier. The only thing that scares me about this pick is the fact that Alabama got borderline embarrassed last week, so they might be coming out for blood.
Could rebound, yeah.
But as we know, the Iron Bowl, it gets weird.
It's one of those games. It's a rivalry game, and weird shit happens.
This is more of the game than
in our lifetime. Absolutely.
Name it out overall.
Yeah.
So will I be kicking myself over this Auburn pick? Probably.
We need to get a custom one that has the call that says Auburn's going to win the football game.
So we can use it like once a year?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's all we need.
And those are our picks.
They're in.
I want to go 2-1. I want to go 2-1.
You need a winning week so bad. It's been a long time. I'm not trying to rub it in, but it has.
Yeah, it's just like me constantly beating you in the rock, paper, scissors.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, man, you haven't had a winning week in a long time. It's literally been since the first week.
Really?
Oh my god.
That's so bad.
I'm sorry.
I should have stopped there.
Maybe so. I mean, you did just have your best week since then. 2-2.
I'm on a heater.
Mm-hmm. On a heater. Cool him down too.
Yeah, jeez. On to the National Football League. The New York Football Giants released Daniel Jones 1 week after they benched him. Like I said last week, I'm going to miss Daniel Jones. I'm going to miss that man. I really am.
Maybe he'll come to the Cowboys.
No thanks. Maybe he'll go to the Niners.
The last high-paid player that left the Giants turned out to be a superstar for another division rival. Isn't that ironic? It could happen for the Cowboys.
Yeah. Who are you talking about?
Saquon?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Still malpractice by the Giants on that one. I don't care what anybody says. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, this is. I mean, I think they did this because they don't want Daniel Jones to possibly get hurt and have to pay him $20 million.
Right. There was definitely some injury precautions going on there.
And Daniel Jones, I believe, wanted to get out of town. He was like, release me.
Right.
So I don't know what the future is for Daniel Jones. I see him being a career backup because, a team like the Raiders, they're going to try to get a quarterback in the draft this year.
Yeah.
Because they're probably going to have a top 3 pick depending on, if they win more games or not. I don't see, who else would want Daniel Jones as a starter?
I mean, yeah, right now.
Like the Jags? They're going to stick with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's hard to see a team out there that's going to say, yeah, we're going to take a chance on you as our franchise guy.
Maybe the Browns?
But I mean...
They probably like Jameis a little bit right now.
I was going to say, yeah, they already have Jameis in the system. I think you might just roll with him for now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he will be in the NFL still. I just think he's going to be a backup guy.
Yeah.
Career backup.
You know what? I mean, maybe if the Panthers are like, we're going to move on from Bryce Young, you bring him in and draft a quarterback at the same time.
Maybe.
And I know they have Andy Dalton going already, but.
Maybe the Saints. I mean, I know
Saints, too, could be in the same
probably like Derek. I mean, Derek Carr is.
Yeah. Derek Carr, we know, is probably on his way out soon.
It's just tough because the way Daniel Jones played for the Giants, I mean, he had a playoff win for him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what team is really chomping at the bit to get Daniel Jones? I don't think anybody.
You know what could be an interesting move would be the Rams to pick him up as a backup and just have him as like a security blanket, if in the event that Matthew Stafford doesn't last as long as they hope,
What if he goes to the Jets?
That'd be funny.
Stays in New York. I mean, honestly, for him, it'd probably be ideal to go to the Jets because he'd have to move.
He doesn't, yeah. That's true.
So, we'll see.
That's true.
And who knows with Aaron Rodgers?
He
He kind of stinks.
Yeah.
Is he going to retire? Is he going to try to go somewhere else? I don't really know how the...
Doesn't really seem like he or the Jets are building around him for the future. That's for damn sure. So, yeah.
Like we mentioned earlier, the Cowboys upset the Commanders 34-26. This... I got... like I said earlier in the group chat, I was wearing my Cowboys hoodie. I was kind of feeling myself. Mm-hmm. And then I see the news on Instagram that Jerry Jones might want to extend Mike McCarthy. Dude, if they, I guess McCarthy hasn't been bad. The Cowboys the last 3 years had won 12 games.
Won a lot of games, yeah.
It's like you want to see more.
Right.
I need more wins in January.
For sure.
I don't need to see Mike McCarthy come back.
It just doesn't make sense. Maybe I don't even know what Jerry's trying to do with this comment, but it just wouldn't make sense to bring it back.
No. And so I'm not going to get worked up about it until it gets more serious.
Yeah, it's just until the news really comes out.
So with this Cowboys-Commanders game, I didn't watch, almost the entire game until we got back to Dev's house, and I saw it was kind of close. And I was like, oh, turn on the game. And literally right when we turned it on, it was which you loved, the Daniels to McLaurin 80-yard touchdown.
Oh, yes, I did. Did indeed.
And I was like, oh, my God, he's serious. And then, misses the extra point. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, the Cowboys are going to win.
Fucking cyber.
And then onside kick recovery for a touchdown, which you hardly ever see any team do.
Yeah.
And so gave, with the guy, with the player, I don't know what his name was, but or is. Ideally, you just drop to the ground.
So that's what most guys do.
So you just knee it. But
He's like, I'm going to take this to the house.
He's like, my only time to score a touchdown in the NFL, so I'm going to take it. So it gave the Commanders an opportunity to throw a Hail Mary and, like a month ago, a month and a half ago, seeing what happened when the Commanders played the Bears. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this could be bad. But the Cowboys intercepted the ball. It was just a really weird way to end the game. And I guess throughout the whole game itself, it was a lot of weird special team moments that happened in it.
There were some funky plays, for sure, yeah.
So,
obviously Turpin had that kick return touchdown. That was pretty sweet.
So the Cowboys fuck their draft stock. Congrats. Hope you're happy with it.
Well, they're still only 4-7, right?
Yeah, but I think you probably try to get top 5 maybe.
The worst team in the league has 2 wins, so it's not like they're that far ahead of anybody.
That's fair. That's fair. So the Cowboys, they're gonna play. They're finally ending their 3 games in 10 days stint.
No, that's right. Yeah,
when they play the Giants on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The
really great matchup of your boy Koopy Rushy.
Koopy.
Against Cutlets. Tommy Cutlets.
Cutlets versus Rush Hour? That's going to be wild.
I'll have it on, but, I mean, what could I... I don't even know what they're thinking this game. It's on Thanksgiving, and... I mean, I don't want the Cowboys to lose because I don't want my Thanksgiving to be totally ruined.
Yeah. It's about as exciting on paper as that Andy Dalton versus Nick Mullins showdown about 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or whatever that was.
So, Cowboys won. Got the beanie on to prove it.
Yeah.
The Packers, on the other hand, they beat the hell out of your 49ers 38-10.
That was a shit show.
It was bad.
I
unfortunately watched 90% of that game.
Really?
It was bad.
Yeah, well,
because I had Debo going, and he
didn't do shit.
Stinks.
He's bad.
He is so bad.
He literally isn't. He isn't a good player.
No.
I wouldn't say anymore, but right now he's not a good player.
He should have stuck to number 19.
He should have.
Call me crazy. Number 19. It's like Jordan with the 45. It's different than Jordan 23.
When I saw that number 1, I was like, I don't want to overthink this, but it's kind of like it's all about me now move, right? And me hasn't been very fucking good this year. just want to point that out, Debo.
I drafted him way too high too. I saw it and I was like, that was a bad pick by me. I mean, he had a couple good games, and my team isn't terrible, but between him and neighbors having cutlets thrown to him now, I'm like, dude, my team is fucked. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes next.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes this week.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, early on, it was all Packers. Like, the Niners could not stop the run. They were committing penalties left and right. That actually happened all game, so I won't say it was just early. That happened all game. And then the Niners, for the middle part of the game, actually, tried to compete. Scored a touchdown late in the first half, rather. But, and that first drive coming out of half was looking promising, and then they got stopped on third down. They went for it and fourth. And, when you got Brandon Allen playing quarterback, you're just you're lowering your odds of anything good happening.
I mean, there's always
and
so
he
much
didn't even play that bad. I won't blame this. I won't blame this on him.
I guess I didn't even see what his stat line was.
Yeah.
Obviously, it can't be that great if you guys got 10 points.
No, I mean, it wasn't like he was throwing dimes out there, but he didn't play bad, all things considered.
Well, and as a Niner fan, honestly, what did you expect going into this game? Did you really expect a Niner win?
Even if Brock Purdy was playing, I wasn't expecting the Niners to win.
Well, I would think even if, let's say, Bosa and Trent Williams played, you're probably still not expecting a win if...
Did Trent not end up playing?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
If Brandon Allen is your quarterback.
Yeah.
You're probably not expecting to go to Lambeau and beat Jordan Love.
You would have to win 10-6, which the defense obviously didn't show up for.
If you have Brock Purdy, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Clearly. I mean, it's your starting quarterback. It's a quarterback that won the NFC, quarterback that went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
For sure.
I mean, I'm sure when you got the news of what was going to happen, or who was going to play, you probably thought to yourself, well, this game is... I mean...
No, and that's why
I'm expecting a loss, but if we win, wow, great.
Sure, yeah.
Needed it big time.
Right.
Just unfortunately for you guys, it's happening at the worst time because now are you guys still last in the NFC West?
Technically, yes. Tied with the Rams, 5-6. Yeah. Honestly, on paper, outside of the Niners losing, everything else happened as perfectly as we could have hoped because the Seahawks beat the Cardinals,
Rams lost,
and the Rams lost as well. So.
I mean, and you guys still have a legitimate chance.
It's really I hate thinking that because it feels like but it feels like a tease, like a false hope, at this point. But technically, yes, we're one game out of first place.
Because you guys can hypothetically, and it's still much in play that you guys host a playoff home game.
Yeah, because the only way the Niners are making the playoffs is if they win the NFC West.
Yes.
And I mean, the outlook is just rough because it's rough, but it's like there if you're an optimist, there is a vision. But they have to play the Bills this coming week, right?
Snowy Buffalo.
We're calling that a loss. There's just, to me, there's no way.
If I did a Gage's guarantee, I probably would have chalked that one up as a loss.
Right. So we're calling that a loss. They got to play the Lions later in the season too, and the Lions are the Lions. I'm not expecting.
Is that going to be in Santa Clara?
I think it's in Santa Clara on Monday night, the second to the last week of the year.
And the Lions are going to come back with revenge.
They're going to cook the Niners. So let's just call it 2 more losses on top of 5-6. So let's say they have to win the other 4 games, which are against a combination of the Cardinals, which, win that game, that's actually big.
Yeah.
The Rams also win that game, that's huge as well, because that goes towards the division record.
Yeah, but let's not forget you guys' division record currently. It's not great.
It's 1-3, but that would get us back to 3-3, and we just got to hope for... also, we have to hope for other good things to happen,
Yeah.
Around
it's pretty much, I mean, ideally you run the table.
Yeah.
Like your fantasy team.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm forgetting who the other teams that the Niners play at this very moment, but they're not world beaters, but they're not cakewalks either. I mean, they got to play the Dolphins. So that's the Dolphins are playing better right now.
Like Mike McDaniel wants to beat Kyle Shanahan.
I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he does.
So it's just not going to be, you having to play a first place schedule. That's what happens.
For sure, yeah. And
same thing with the Cowboys. Like they had that stretch where they lost like 6 straight because they played the fucking Lions, Texans, Eagles.
Right.
Like it's tough.
And even on top of a first place schedule, they're playing the NFC North, which is the really best division in football. So. Oh, the Bears is the other team they got to play. So Bears are beatable.
Yeah.
But the Niners got to bring their game.
Is that one in?
That's another question. I don't know if it's here or there. Well, let's see. They played Minnesota there. They played Detroit at home, so that's 1-1.
And then Green Bay was in Green Bay.
Green Bay was in Green Bay, so they're going to be at home.
Okay, so could be worse.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
But it's got to be perfect football as far as I'm concerned.
Brock Purdy, people have to play.
Yeah, people got to play too.
People got to play. Like, because I keep hearing people on the radio being like, "Oh, what's the issue? Like, what would you change with the Niners?" And to me, it's a bad health season.
It's a bad health season, but let's be honest though. You play you make a lot of long runs in the playoffs. You've been doing this with this same core for a lot of years, which it's obviously it's only been like a 5-year run, but in the NFL that's a lot of years. Mm-hmm. Your team's gonna the longevity and the that many games is gonna catch up faster than you think, and I think. We're talking about Debo. He's not the same player he used to be.
He's slower.
He can't hit the edge anymore.
No. I just saw a replay of him from a few years ago. He catches the ball and he's gone.
Yeah,
he's not that guy anymore.
He just doesn't have that anymore.
And I kept hearing that he was in the best shape of his life going into the season, but still it doesn't matter really.
I think that's fucking bullshit.
I mean, he's always looked like he's kind of got like a little belly, but I know he's in
he's got to be in good shape.
He has to be in good shape to be a football player.
And then, even though I would say Kittle's still playing at a good clip.
Probably on a little bit of a decline given the position that he plays.
Athleticism-wise, yeah, but I think production-wise, he's still there. He's having some of his best seasons over the last couple of years. Production-wise, anyways. McCaffrey obviously coming off an injury and doesn't look like himself in these first 3 games. So
Brock Purdy.
Yep.
Got the shoulder thing.
The defense is nothing close to what it's been over the last few years. No. It just isn't. So that's the reality.
Yeah. Some other Week 12 things. Chiefs, win again, of course, against the Panthers on a game-winning field goal. Mahomes. It's inevitable when Mahomes has the ball, tie game, like a minute left. You're like, okay, it's gonna take him like 3 throws.
Right.
Although the Chiefs did have their backup kicker, so I think they probably had to feel like
maybe got to get a little closer.
Butker is like once you hit the 40, he's got the range.
Give or take, yeah.
So the Chiefs, they keep chugging along, bounce back. I think I saw a Mahomes stat. I don't remember exactly what it was, but his career record after a loss, it's something.
Oh, I'm sure it's great.
Outrageous. It's like 20-something and a single-digit number.
Yeah.
He's just great. It's just the Chiefs. What else can you say about him?
This team is so fucking weird though this year. Like it's there's definitely something different. Mm-hmm. They're not explosive like they used to be. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder if it's going to catch up to them come playoff time.
It's going to have to. They're not going to win 3 straight.
It doesn't feel like it. Even though they're 10-1, it just does not feel like it. Yeah. But hey, well, I will accept that I will eat my words come playoff time because we know how good Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are.
And I'm a firm believer. It's like if it's never happened, it's really hard for it to happen.
Oh, for sure.
3 straight Super Bowls. There's a reason why it's never happened because it's ridiculously hard to do that in the NFL. Even winning 2, like you win 2, you're in this upper echelon of teams that have only done it. I mean, I think
like a handful.
I think maybe 5 teams have done it. Maybe in the Super Bowl era. Yeah. Titans upset the Texans, which I wasn't happy about because I picked the Texans to cover.
That was a bit of a shock.
And I didn't. C.J. Stroud stepped out of the end zone.
You didn't see that?
He did the Garoppolo.
He did the Jimmy G too.
And you put Orlovsky.
He's the original one. Yeah.
Wow. So it was to end the game.
Pretty much. I mean, I think they were trying to put together a drive at the end of the game, down by 3, and he ran out of room in the back of the end zone, and that was pretty much it.
Wow. That was a surprising loss.
Yeah, that division, is the Texans aren't playing as well as we thought they would this year, and obviously Indianapolis is up and down. Jags suck. Titans suck rather.
Yeah. Seahawks, they went over the Cardinals like we were talking about earlier. They won 16-6. They are back on top of the NFC West via the tiebreaker.
Yeah, pretty brutal game for the Cardinals. I mean, that's a huge game that they could put a big lead on the division, and they let that one slip away. It was just a road game. It's not easy, but
at least the Cardinals look good losing.
Those
all whites.
Those white on whites are nice.
I was thinking earlier because we were talking about in the group chat like red and black combination. Is there no team in the NFL that their main colors are red and black?
Or the Falcons.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking about it earlier. Duh. Because I was like, there has to be a team that. Because first thing I thought was the Cardinals because they do have those jerseys that are.
They got the black the black is very accented.
Like the black helmet though when they do that.
Those are clean. Yeah.
But yes, you're right. The Falcons.
But when I think of the Cardinals, I think more of it's just like it's red, and then some of the outlining is black on
Yeah, exactly.
But I would say the Falcons. And the Falcons have gone back and forth between red and black as their main color too.
The Ravens win the Harbaugh Bowl on Monday Night Football, beat the Chargers 30-23. John Harbaugh is now 3-0 against his little brother Jim.
Yep. Jim can't get over the hump yet.
Is he little brother?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I feel like Jim.
Years.
I feel like Jim looks so old with those Dahmer shades on.
Dude, those shades.
Doesn't he?
He look. That's exactly what like his dad used to rock.
Oh yeah.
Those shades or those glasses.
He just looks so much.
He looks like he does look old.
Those glasses, Jim. If you're listening, like reconsider throw on some Ray-Bans or something like that. You're looking old, brother. You're looking old.
Yeah, I think part of it's too is like the fact that he played and now he definitely lost a lot of weight over the last few years too. So it's making him look a little saggy.
Yeah, because they were showing the highlight of Jim and John like hugging it out before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
whatever, 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jim looks like a spring chicken. Mm-hmm. You look at him now, it's like, dude, like, did Michigan really do that to you?
I'm sure it did, too.
Michigan really
didn't think about that part. Yeah.
Put it on you like that. But, it's cool to see this. It'll happen more throughout the years. Hopefully, John Harbaugh's not going anywhere. It's actually amazing that John Harbaugh has been there for so long that he was still the coach for them for that Super Bowl run.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like he was the coach of the Ravens before Jim became the coach of the Niners. Yeah. Jim left the NFL for a long time, and now he's back, and John's still there, still going strong.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that Jim is back in the NFL too, because I think it's right.
It is right.
Yeah, and they're back and they're in the same conference for the first time too.
I think Jim Harbaugh picked a good team to go to. I know the Chargers seem to have this curse with them, or like they just can't. They can't win it like the big one.
Yeah.
Which, Harbaugh is kind of used to because, Michigan for a long time could win the big one.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was never going to get to that point. And finally he did. And with the Niners, I know Niners in the past have won plenty of Super Bowls. But it kind of feels like Niners are also cursed in a way post 1996 when the last time they won.
Right.
So you got to give it to Jim for going to these teams that
he's like the ultimate program franchise altering coach.
Yeah. Anything else you got for this week? I don't really have anything else.
No, I think that's about it.
Okay.
What's our slate for Thanksgiving Day?
Thanksgiving Day, good question. We have the morning game. It's actually at 9:30. They've always done, or like in the 9 a.m. hour, our time.
Yeah.
They've always done that Lions game, because most games here on the West Coast, first game start at 10, unless it's in a different country.
Right. Yeah,
like the normal times. For some reason, I've noticed throughout the years, the morning game, which is always the Lions game, always starts at like 9:30. I wonder why I don't know why they do that.
Well, I'm sure they're just trying to drag the day out as much as possible, get some more viewership. Okay. They probably because do they do performances at halftimes for these games too?
I remember Jack Harlow was there.
That's right. That's right.
And then who did the Cowboys win last year? Was it?
It should be Creed this year.
It should have been Creed last year.
It should be Creed every year.
Was it Man, I'll check it out real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, my only guess is they know these games are going to go a little bit longer, partially because halftime's going to be longer, and they want to drag it out for TV as well.
The Cowboys play the New York Football Giants at the 1 o'clock slate, which is where they usually play every year. And It's
going to be a shit bowl.
Yeah. So who do you get? Bears, Lions. I'm assuming you're picking the Lions.
Yeah, I think the Lions will win.
Giants, Cowboys. I mean, that's honestly a toss.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't even know. I don't even know what the line is for that. I imagine it probably is the Cowboy. Actually, I really don't know.
The Cowboys are favored by at least a few.
Okay.
Yeah, if not like 5.
I can see the Cowboys winning. I can see the Giants winning.
Yeah.
It's honestly a toss.
I think the Cowboys are a better team. I mean, even you minus the quarterbacks on both teams, still think the Cowboys are a better team.
Dolly Parton performed.
Dolly, that's right.
She had the
cheerleaders.
Yeah, the cheerleader outfit.
That's
yeah,
right. That's
okay,
right. That's right.
And then the final game is going to be the Packers and the Dolphins. That's going to be a good one.
That's probably the best game on paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dolphins at Packers, though. We know how the Dolphins play at a cold weather. And it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold.
It's not going to be warm
it's gonna be...
in Green Bay. So I'd probably take the Packers in that one based off that alone.
Yeah.
But, is this Jalen Rose on TNT?
Hey.
Is he not with ESPN anymore?
And I don't think he has been for a little while.
Wow.
Like a year or so.
I've always liked Jalen Rose. I really like Jalen and Jacoby.
That was a good little
show.
Podcast, radio show, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Sunday, though, we got big matchup, Eagles and Ravens.
Eagles at Ravens?
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Probably the best matchup on paper all week.
We'll get to our picks, but I think Lamar Jackson's lost one game to the NFC in his career, which is actually against Daniel Jones.
Is that right?
Yes. So, if you want to try to beat the Ravens, Daniel Jones is your guy for the NFC team.
The Eagles pick him up. They love those former Giants.
Niners pick him up. Niners pick him up.
True. Player of the week.
I mean,
there's really only one guy.
There really is only one guy. I mean, I picked this guy. Yeah. So do you want to?
I got an honorable mention too. But yeah, Saquon.
Saquon Barkley.
302 yards from scrimmage, 255 on the ground, 2 tutties, 2 touchdown runs of over 70 yards as well, which first time it's been done in like 15 years.
What did you pick him in the draft? 15th, something like that.
No, it was like 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 11. I think
that's a good pick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely a big reason I'm doing as well as I am, which I'm still in the middle of the pack. But
a lot of people are in the middle of the pack right now.
Yeah, we're all hanging out there in the middle.
Yeah, Justin Tucker, Saquon Barkley. Yeah. So who's your honorable mention?
Honorable mention, Josh Jacobs. He had 3 touchdowns on the ground, 106 yards against the Niners.
Yeah, he had the hat trick.
Yep,
for sure.
He did.
That was a good pick.
He did indeed. Definitely not going to be Jalen Waddle, that fucking asshole. That's his best game finally. Now that he's not on my fantasy team anymore.
Sal's loving that though. Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question. Did Justin Tucker have 10 points this week?
Negative.
Oh.
7 points on the week.
That was easy.
It's not his year, man.
No, it's not.
Sorry, Danny.
It's not.
It's not Danny's year either.
So do we decide if after next week we're going to see what his average was?
I think we will carry it through the playoffs. The fantasy playoffs,
okay.
Which will go to week 16.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
or should we do it as long as Danny's alive? Which it may not be after this week, but we'll go through the playoffs.
We can go through the playoffs,
yeah.
As long until our fantasy season is done.
Yes, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Picks recap. I did not do well, but
yeah, you went 1 and 2, I believe it was.
But my partner right here went 3-0.
3-0. About damn time.
Love that.
About damn time. First 3-0 week for me since week 5, so I'll take it. 5-1 in the last 2 weeks.
That's great.
Bing bong. Gage, you're exactly 500. 15-15. You are minus $200.
Look at you.
I'm 15-14-1, minus $100. So we're both hanging in the same ballpark right now.
Feeling good.
Who are you taking this weekend?
I am going to take with my $300 pick. I'm going to go Lions minus 10. It's a big number against the Bears, but the Lions have been covering big spreads lately.
It's cruise control right now.
Yeah, I don't really feel that. I'm not worried about it. Worried about it. On my $200 pick, I'm going to go Ravens, like I said, minus 3. Lamar Jackson's 1,001 against NFC teams.
Yeah.
And then my $100 pick, I'm going to go Texans, who broke my heart last week, minus 5 at the Jags because they stink.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar, he can get some. I think he can get some yards too against that Philly defense.
Do you think Lamar Jackson in next year's fantasy draft could be picked like top 5? I feel like he's that important. Because he's really good.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember like where he ranked among fantasy quarterbacks last season.
He had to, not going into this season.
No, but just after it was all said and done last season. Because obviously he won the MVP, but he didn't have like his best statistical season by any means. Yeah. Like he had a very good year for sure.
Yeah.
But like I feel like he hasn't put together like monster stat years back to back. So it's I could understand if fantasy owners would be skeptical of him doing it again.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Plus, you know, a running quarterback, they get injured, they slow down faster than you think they're going to. So there's that factor as well.
Yeah.
For me,
what about you?
For me, my $300 pick, I'm taking those Packers on Thanksgiving -3.5 against the Dolphins. I honestly felt like this would be a bigger number.
It's a good pick.
Like it would be in the 5 to 6 range, but yeah, I like the Packers, especially being at home in the cold weather versus Miami, who's not so fond of the cold weather in recent history. $200 pick, I'm taking the Bills -7 against the Niners.
Hedge.
And it is, but at the same time, it's like I feel like there's no chance the Niners win this game. I don't give a fuck who's playing quarterback. I don't give a shit who's
you're
playing.
telling me even if Purdy, Bosa, and Williams all play, you still think they could cover?
I think so. It's going to be weird because of the weather, so I will say that maybe it's not a certainty that they cover based on that. But yeah, I like the Bills being in their home stadium this weekend.
Okay.
My last pick is going to be Washington Commanders -5.5 against the Tennessee Titans. I like the Commanders to rebound before their bye week. It's been a rough few weeks after they started so well, but they're back to playing against. Well, they played the Cowboys, who are not great, but they're playing a bad team in Tennessee. And we like to think that teams are not always as bad as they were the previous week, or not always as good as they were the previous week.
You're picking against the Titans? Oof, it wasn't good for me last week.
Yep. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No way they replicate that,
right.
is my bet. Yeah. And the picks are in.
Yes. And we want to announce that next week, or a week and a half from now, is the first edition of the NFL Top 6.
Yes.
Which is, it's for me, like, starting it out is hard because it's a lot of, like,
You got to get that, set that base, which it's hard to like say who's going to be those teams, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's always fun, and after that we'll be doing it up until
we'll do it. I think we'll do it weekly until the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
Yep.
So looking forward to that.
Yes.
And and doing this podcast on a Tuesday gives me more time to figure this top 6 out until next Thursday.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, we I mean, yeah, I think we talked about like Ravens Eagles, probably the only matchup that's going to have huge implications on who's on movement, anyways, in the in those top 6 teams. But yeah,
what time's it?
Oh, it is time.
That was
For last call. I only have one thing, and it looks like you got a few.
Yeah, I got a few things.
I definitely want to take a shot for mine because it's exciting.
Okay, is it? Bold?
I'll just start. I'll just start it off.
Yeah,
first.
rip it.
So Kendrick Lamar, aka
yeah.
the Prince who was promised, dropped a surprise album. And if you go back to my bold prediction back in September, I believe, or August. No, let's see. Bold prediction by me. That was in September 12th of this year. I said Kendrick drops an album before his Super Bowl performance, and god damn it, I was right.
Cha-ching.
Oh my god, I was so stoked. So I'm taking that off the list.
So that was the only part of the prediction?
Well, I had.
Or is there like
I had 2 separate ones about Kendrick. I said he was a drop album before because I thought he'd want some kind of
something to go into it with.
Something to go into it with. Yep. And then I said he was going to bring out Lil Wayne since it's in New Orleans.
That's right.
I think that's a lot more bold than this one because I don't think that's actually going to happen at this point.
Yeah, because Lil Wayne's he's a Drake guy, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But nonetheless, I listened to the album. I listened to it twice, like fully.
Yeah.
I listened to a couple of the songs I like the most off it. It's good. The man's really good at what he does, and it's just he's one of my favorite artists ever at this point, and it's really exciting to be able to be alive for someone that you really enjoy.
And for their peak too.
Because Because, a lot of the people that I like, like Sublime's, Nirvana's, like,
You're listening to them after the fact.
I will never get a chance to hear, like, their best stuff ever again.
Yeah.
Or, like, their peak. So it's nice to have someone like Kendrick Lamar, for me, who is still, I would say, is at his peak. He might not drop his best albums anymore, like his, the ones that he's had in the past. But it's still always exciting.
Yeah.
Like, when I found out, when Sal brought it to my attention that he dropped an album on Friday at work, I mean, I was just pretending to work at that point. My head was spinning. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but I was like just so jacked. I was like, dude, I need to listen to this. I have an hour lunch. It was only a 45-minute album, so I listened to the whole thing. I was like, this is awesome.
There you go.
So,
well, cheers to Kendrick.
Cheers. And I'm stoked that I got a bold prediction right.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly, too.
There you go.
Pretty quick.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty terrible at realizing in the moment, like when something big happens from a musical standpoint. Because I remember when we were in high school and the Foo Fighters dropped Wasting Light. And I wasn't even like a huge Foo Fighters fan at that point. I've become one more so, I guess, over the years. But, I mean, I think that's probably their second best album, maybe, you could argue. I wouldn't say that they have any of their top 5 songs on that album necessarily, but it was a good album for sure.
Oh yeah, that was like I'd compare that to like the Chili Peppers Californication album.
Yeah, like a very good mainstream kind of
twist. You can argue for both those albums, Wasting Light and Californication, well after the prime, quote unquote, of the band.
Right.
So I would say the prime of the Chili Peppers was Blood Sugar.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Like early 90s.
Right.
And that came out. Californication did in 99.
It was in 99, okay. I wasn't sure if it was.
And to me, I think the Foo Fighters' best album is probably either Color and Shape or Nothing Left to Lose.
I was going to say Color and Shape would be the one.
Like those two. That's like I always felt like that was their prime because that was 97, 99 for those two.
Right.
And Wasting Light came out in 2015? Or
no, we were in high school, so I want to say it was like
2011?
11.
Okay,
yeah.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, because I wasn't even that huge on the Foo Fighters at that point either.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we all knew like their big songs like Everlong and all, go on and on.
But yeah, it's just exciting because even like when, it's funny I'm going to say this, but like even like when Drake would drop albums like J. Cole, like it felt big and you listen to them and most of their stuff is really good. So it's like exciting. More on my part is like at this point because rock is kind of dead right now.
It is still a little dead, yeah.
So like hip hop's huge right now. So there's more of an opportunity of big hip hop albums coming out rather than big rock albums.
For sure.
Because the Foo Fighters will come out with stuff and you listen to it and you're like, it's good.
Yeah. But maybe there's like one song on an album that hits.
It's just
but they're not. Yeah. They're not banger albums by any means.
Or like the Rolling Stones came out with an album like 2 years ago. It's like, dude.
Oh, they should have been done like 20 years ago.
I mean, even like Metallica, like more in the sweatshirt right now. They came out with Hardwire to Self-Destruct, I think.
That was like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, and there were some couple good songs, but just like
you're just remaking the same shit.
You're done.
Yeah. It's like it's
and they're never gonna. And none of those bands are never gonna give it up because they know they can sell out every show every night.
And they can sell a bunch of records too.
And I don't blame them for that.
Yeah.
But it's just like you said, appreciating an artist in their prime is just so cool to witness.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of Metallica and a franchise, a sports team that really embraces Metallica, that would be the San Jose Sharks.
Yes, they do.
They retired one of their greats in Joe Thornton's number 19 over the weekend.
Love that.
It was
right behind us. Sharks,
that's right.
Sharks territory.
This is Sharks territory.
I should have worn my jersey. I don't have a Thornton one, but I should have worn my jersey.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
We knew this was coming. Obviously, this is now 2 years after the Marlowe jersey retirement.
Because Marlowe's being retired first.
That had to happen.
He's
Mr. Shark.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Shark. But Joe Thornton has had, I would say, you got Marlowe here, and then right below, as far as impact on the Sharks organization, he's number 2.
Oh, yeah.
No question about it.
I would take your word for that, yeah.
I remember right when I was kind of getting interested in hockey as a kid is when they traded for Joe Thornton. And I knew Joe Thornton's name. I was like, oh shit, that's huge.
From the Bruins.
Yeah,
right?
It came from Boston. It just the way that he changed the trajectory and the next, I think he played almost 15 years with the Sharks after that, which is insane to think about. I shouldn't. Yeah, it was about 15 years with the Sharks. Anyways, he just changed the trajectory of the franchise, and they were, they never won a championship or a Stanley Cup with Joe Thornton. They went to one, but they were a contender every single year that he was there, which is really pretty cool to think about. And he made them relevant. They were in the mix every single season, and he won an MVP the very first season that he was in with the Sharks, which is pretty cool too.
So did he get traded mid-season?
He got traded mid-season. It was early on. It was kind of a weird move that the Sharks and Bruins made to make that trade, but yeah, it worked out well for the Sharks.
So in that season that he got traded, he won MVP that year?
That year.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Played about, give or take, 2/3 of the season with the Sharks that year.
Got it.
Yeah. And for, Joe Thornton, in a way, gets a little disrespected because he didn't win the Stanley Cup, but it's literally the hardest trophy to win in all of sports.
The Stanley Cup.
Yeah. And, but for a 4 or 5 year stretch, he was arguably the best player in the league. So I think, and a good chunk of that was with the Sharks. So, yeah, I think it was a huge moment and a huge time for the Sharks to acquire him, and it turned out to be a great move. I wish for him that even if it wasn't with the Sharks, that he would win a cup. Same with Joe Pavelski, But
whose number should get probably retired.
He's probably next in line.
And then after that, probably none.
There's nobody else that I could imagine being. I mean, Brent Burns would be a stretch, but Burns was a great Shark. Burns would be a stretch though. But yeah, I think Pavelski, and then after that,
you gotta wait.
Hopefully one of the guys that we drafted in recent years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Celebrini had a big game last night.
Not Martin Jones. They should retire, put a name, and then underneath the name put just a block of Swiss cheese.
Starting goalie for the only time we went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Didn't win it though.
No. Oh man, I'll never forget that game 6 where we were at. I think we were coming back from Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and we stopped at that janky ass bar.
Yeah. That was shitty.
A lot of fun memories though in the Joe Thornton era. They were a good time.
Yeah.
Also, Max Verstappen, he clinched his 4th consecutive F1 championship this past weekend in Vegas.
I couldn't believe it's already 4.
It does seem like it happened fast.
It did because I was convinced it was 3 because I've always kind of put him winning with Dev and I being together because.
Well, how long have you guys been together?
3.5 years. But I remember literally we were talking about it at Palisades.
Oh, that makes sense though.
Because we were watching the championship, the first one that he won when he barely beat
Lewis,
yeah. And she was jumping on the bed and she borderline broke the
fan.
No, there's not a fan, it's just a light that's on the ceiling.
Fixture. Yeah.
And it's still to this day hanging by the wires in her room. So Max Verstappen has won 3 championships since her light on top of her ceiling or on her ceiling has been dangling.
That's amazing.
I'm not a Max guy at all. I'm not.
Well, no, definitely. So I think we talked about this, but at the time, no one felt bad for Lewis over that, even though he kind of got gypped out of it because of what happened late in the race.
Yeah.
That year, but thinking back on it now, I think everyone that's an F1 fan is like, we wish that Max didn't have that one.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Be careful what you wish for.
But I will say now that Red Bull doesn't look like they're going to be the powerhouse that they have been for the future. So we'll see what happens in F1.
Let's back up here. I got too excited earlier.
So I do have a kind of a funny question.
Okay, I was kind of excited when I saw this.
This happened, or this kind of came to my mind on Sunday when I was working on during football. A Bears fan comes in, sits at the bar, and he asked me to turn on the game, and so I do so. And in between, him asking for me to turn on the game and me turning it on, he says, "Yeah, because I think I asked. It was 12:45, so it was right around the time where the early games change over to the afternoon games, right?" And so I asked, because I didn't realize that they were playing at that time, so I was like, "Are they on now, or are they on at 1 o'clock?" And he said, "No, that's the game's about to finish. They're playing the Vikings." And he said, "They're playing the Vikings, quote unquote, best team in the league." That was him saying best team in the league, talking about the Vikings. And
this is a Bears fan?
This is a Bears fan. And it got me thinking, because I feel like this comment gets thrown around really easily when people say, Even if it's not about their own team. Sometimes it is about their own team, but they say best team in the league when clearly, I mean, the Vikings are having a very good season, right? They're 9-2. But I don't think anyone that watches the NFL thinks the Vikings are the best team in the league, right?
No.
And I find it kind of annoying when people make that comment when it's obviously not the truth. And I was going to ask, is there a more annoying sports take than one like that? Because I just think it's kind of like ridiculous to say things that aren't true, you know? I don't know how else to put it.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I think, I bet you that person's saying that because maybe in that moment, because his team's playing them, and if the Bears happen to win,
oh, that's a boost.
It's a like,
Confidence
we beat the best team in the league.
Exactly, which is why it's even worse.
And maybe because they play them twice a year, and we got to play the best team in the league twice a year. The Minnesota Vikings. I know 2 Vikings fans. Yeah. Actually, I know 3. My sister's one too.
Oh God!
But I know Dave Caro, Jeremy, and my sister. Yeah. If I were to ask Dave and Jeremy, who actually watch the Vikings,
yeah, they follow them closely.
I mean, Drew might. I don't think she follows them as close as those 2 guys.
Yeah.
If I asked them, are the Vikings the best team in the National Football League? They would both say no.
No.
Jeremy for sure would, because he's a pessimist
Yeah.
when it comes to the Vikings.
Yeah.
And then I think
Gabe is like realistically optimistic,
yeah.
but he would not say they're the best team.
Even last night, Jeremy was talking. He was like, "We have a really good defense." I'm like, "Yes, you absolutely do." But I think, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. I still think.
I wouldn't bet.
I think Sam Darnold is gonna be the reason why they don't go all the way, because quarterback play matters. And
it does,
and he's played good enough. But can you see anybody listening or watching, and you?
Yeah.
Can you imagine Sam Darnold hoisting the Lombardi Trophy? And I know, no. And I know you have your occasional Brad Johnson and Nick Foleses. And Nick, but I mean, being out of everybody else who's playing, are they going to beat the Lions in the playoffs? Are they going to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl if that happens? Are they going to beat the Bills in the Super Bowl if that happens? No, I don't think so.
No.
But is there a more ridiculous sports take than that?
I mean,
there probably is. But
that comes out I guess on a regular basis. Yeah. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but it does happen, here and there. I'm just like, shut up. They're not the best.
That just sounds like such an NFC North bias.
Right. Oh, 100%. Yeah. That would be like if you're a Cavs fan and you're watching them have a great start to the season, be like, oh yeah, best team in the league, no question. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the Celtics.
The Celtics. There's on paper, and they beat you. They're the better team. Let's be real.
He was just trying to boost the ego.
100%, and I think it's actually more annoying when someone says that another team is when they're definitely not. Just to do that for themselves.
Well, maybe he was saying that to you because he wanted to maybe hope you weren't a big sports fan. And then, he sees the Bears possibly win, and you go up to him like, "Hey, man, congrats. You beat the best team in the league."
You picked the wrong guy.
You picked the way wrong guy. You picked the worst guy in town to say that to.
Yeah, right.
You could have said that to Brett. No offense to Brett, but Brett might have fell for that.
Yeah, even Vikings best team. Okay.
Okay. The record's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. It's That's
stop it.
That's a little much.
I just thought it was.
That is funny.
It's the first time anyone's said that to me at the bar in a long time that made me think
best team in the league.
You're wrong.
Well, and also why would on the other side, why would the Bears fan want to even give the Vikings that kind of credit?
That's another great point. Very good point.
Because they've probably talked. That guy's probably talked shit about the Vikings for a long time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you want to be best team in the league. No, I want to say, the Vikings, they're going to plateau in the playoffs.
Okay, so we're not going to know the answer to this, obviously, but odds that this guy says the same thing on Thanksgiving when they're playing the Lions. And it's a close game late in the fourth quarter.
If he doesn't, he's going to learn quickly. Seriously.
Yeah.
You thought losing the Vikings was cute. The Lions are going to smoke your ass. And then he's going to realize, maybe this is the best team.
Right.
Not even that. This is probably the best team in the division. Because it's the same division.
And they're far from the best team. The Bears are, obviously they're better than they have been. And they have a little bit of future there with Caleb Williams. But Yeah, Packers Vikings lines look pretty nice right now.
Yeah, that's being a Bears fan, seeing
Brutal.
what like maybe this year, that's nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. It's nightmare feel.
Yeah.
Because you're like, wait, we are still this much worse.
Right.
Like the Bears are gonna have a decent season. Maybe not. Maybe like 8-9 probably.
Well, they're 4-7 right now.
They're 4-7.
Yeah,
So
it's
probably
gonna be
like,
tough to get that.
Probably 6 wins.
Yeah.
7 wins maybe.
Yeah.
Which is better than they have been.
Yeah.
But every other team above them is gonna make the playoffs probably.
Oh yeah, those three. If any of those three don't make it, that's a big letdown.
Yeah.
I think Lions and Vikings are pretty locked in. Packers only have 8 wins, but still.
What was the age of this guy? Would you say?
I would guess he's probably mid-30s,
Okay.
maybe late 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like a total old head or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
But
That's funny.
still ignorant.
Very ignorant. That's just the best team in the league.
Best team in the league, dude. Vikings, bro.
I mean, how can you go to sleep at night thinking that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just like a nervous comment, like to make me maybe turn the game on for him. But yeah, definitely not true.
Yeah.
Good stuff though.
Yeah.
What we got? Mid third quarter, Suns up 76-70 over the Lakers.
Lakers trying to go for that back-to-back NBA Cup. Trying their best.
I wish I knew the records of these teams. I think the Warriors were the first team to clinch a spot in the knockout round.
Look at
of
that.
The, NBA Cup.
Are you stoked?
How about it?
If they win, are they going to put up a banner like the Lakers did?
I guarantee they will, which is sad. I hope they don't win it just because of that.
Well, I mean, I think after a while, because I think the NBA ideally doesn't want this to go away.
No.
So I think the Lakers doing that was probably in the NBA's best interest to do like a.
It may have been a mandate by the NBA. Like you got to honor this thing.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people gave him shit for that. So I mean, I don't know if the Lakers could say anything, but be like, this was mandated by the NBA. We had to do this.
They probably were told, you need to do it, and you need not to say anything about why you did it.
That's a great call. It probably is. Because you need to make this seem like it means a big deal.
Yeah.
So, in the future, people will care about it.
I don't know how they could ever make this mean anything to the players or fans.
Well, they get money, but I know it's a lot of, I think they get $500,000, but I know for a lot of these guys, that's not.
Steph Curry's making $62 million this year.
So it is chump change. But for guys like Steph, it is. But there's guys like Dalton Connect, who's on a rookie contract,
and he's making 1.7.
So he can make half his salary, almost or
a third of his salary.
A third of his salary doing this. So it means something to him. Obviously, like the big name guys.
Yeah.
Because not all.
But you're telling me that the only players that should care about this tournament are the players that barely play.
I mean, yeah, for money, absolutely.
But you're talking about the players that don't mean much to the teams.
I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about bench warmers. I'm talking about guys that come off the bench.
8th and 9th guys, still though.
Yeah, and these guys are competitive. They, probably in the locker room, and probably saying like, this thing's kind of silly, but I want to still win it.
For sure, but they're not. But the problem is like, yeah, I want to win it, but they're not going to be. They're not going to like.
It's not the NBA Finals.
Exactly, they're not going to be putting their full force towards making sure they win set games.
Well, I think they might put their full force into it because it is like the game does still matter towards the regular season, which I know is like a dying breed.
Exactly. That's I think that's my bigger point is that they're doing this early in the season when the players have not started caring about the regular season standings. It's kind of where
it's just if it keeps going on for the next like 5 to 8 years, I think after a while, like if the Kings won the NBA Cup, I'd be pretty hyped. That's because the Kings haven't won shit in forever.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Like as a Warriors fan, you win the NBA Cup, you're like, cool. I've seen 4 rings.
Yeah, I guess I get it, but still, like you're winning a little mini tournament that is like infused into the regular season that still means what?
I can see both sides.
Yeah.
Because to me, it is still kind of silly.
Yeah.
And they got to get rid of these terrible, bright courts that they got.
That's next on the list.
Like
they're going to go away.
Yeah.
If not next year, the
have
year after
to.
that. Yeah.
We're gonna be watching like NBA classics in like 40 years of an NBA Cup game. We're gonna be like, why was the court that bad?
Right.
Just put the trophy in the middle, put the trophy in the two paints like it already is, and everybody, I promise, who's at that game will know it's the NBA Cup game. You know why? Because there's a cup right in the middle.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what like last year, and they're doing it again this year, the semifinals and the finals were in Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the court looked like for those games.
Yeah, it's a good
Like
point.
if they were wild also, or if they just did kind of like a standard look or not. But
yeah, because I don't know, if it's in Vegas, do they still favor, quote unquote?
I think it would be a neutral color.
Okay, so are those games technically not like home? Obviously, they're not technically home games, but are they trying to sway one team being a home team or not?
I don't think so. Yeah. Because also the championship game, so to speak, is an extra game that doesn't actually count towards the
gotcha.
towards the regular season. Yeah, but
I mean, they may be just doing something different. I've always, even if I'm not agreed with it, I'll never knock somebody or something for trying to do something different.
Oh, I mean, I totally get why they're doing it. I mean, it's easy. It's an easy thing to make people think, especially casuals, think that a game means more than it should, or more than it normally would. You know, so there's, you're boosting money in or revenue in that move. But yeah. All right. What you doing for Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving Day, I'm gonna have dinner with Devin and her parents, which isn't, I have dinner over there all the time, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. Mm-hmm. Just except it'll be Thanksgiving. Tomorrow night, though, we're gonna have tacos at my house.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, pretty much it was all at Norman Rose, and then my grandma and grandpa are hopefully gonna be there, and then Drew and JoJo, mom, dad, me, Devin, Theo.
Nice.
It's always kind of. I know you always do huge for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, some years is bigger than others, but yeah.
So is this a bigger year than normal?
This will be, because like on my dad's side, it's usually bigger, just because the family is bigger.
Yeah.
But this year, tomorrow I'll be heading down to Carmel. It's gonna be the only day I'll be there. Won't actually be there on Thanksgiving. Coming back on Thursday to work on Thanksgiving, which it is what it is, part of the business. But yeah. At least I'll get to see some of the family that I see only every couple of years. So
yeah, no, it's cool that you're going down there, because
it's a lot of driving for a short
24-hour span. You're going to be driving 6 of those hours.
Exactly,
probably.
At least, yeah.
So, because I've never been to Carmel. I don't even know if I've ever been to Monterey. Because I looked at them.
They're basically like the same.
Because I looked at it on the map, because it's like way down from Santa Cruz.
Right. Yeah, it's a good trek. Because Santa Cruz is like a 2+.
Yeah.
And Monterey, Carmel, it's about 3.
Because every year you do, like, your big Thanksgiving dinners is with your dad's side, right?
So it's every other year. Like the even years, so to speak.
Okay, so like next year you'll just have something here with your parents?
Yeah, I'll do it probably with like my mom's side of family. Like
Okay.
And,
you told me that before, but I guess I thought it was every year.
And that one varies a little more on who shows up, I would say, because sometimes like my mom's brother Steven will be there or not.
Yeah.
But
so who's hosting in 2 years from now?
That's a good question. We don't know yet.
How do you?
So it used to rotate between like all my dad's like brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
But now it's kind of like transitioning into like the cousins, like that I'm a part of, like the next generation.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I believe only one of the younger generation has hosted so far. So it's remained to be seen who's.
Don't these older people know that it's hard to host these days? The cost of everything.
Yeah.
It's like, geez.
I mean, at the end of the day, we all kind of pitch into it. It's not like the host like pays for everything necessarily.
Okay, that's nice. Okay.
It's just
that would be
you're just the person who does the
like your host
turkey
and
has it at their house or whatever.
Turkey? Are you a turkey guy?
Yeah, I like turkey.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like it. I feel like I like it the next day with like a sandwich with a ton of mustard on it.
Fair. Yeah, no, I'm not a hater on like the Thanksgiving staples. However, I'm actually not disappointed this year by any means that I will not be having turkey dinner. So, just because, I have it every fucking year, you know.
So what's on the menu for tomorrow night? Do you have any idea?
I think my Uncle Steve and my Aunt Hindi are doing some kind of dinner, and then there's also appetizers before dinner. But
okay, nice.
But yeah,
because I'm a ham guy. Like I love.
Really? I think ham is alright. I like as much as I think turkey is alright. I think ham is alright. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'd be okay with every year for Thanksgiving having ham instead of turkey.
Yeah.
Personally.
Ham does have like more natural flavor to it. I'll say that. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a balloon after eating it because it's so much sodium, but it's so good.
Yeah.
And especially a ham sandwich a couple days after.
Okay. Yeah.
100%. But with that being said, we want to thank you for listening and for watching. We hope all of you have a good Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you in about a week and a half.
Yes, sir.
Peace.